Hi everyone, and welcome to today's Wild About Wildlife virtual camp here at Loggerhead Marine Life Center. My name is Miss Casey, aka Turquoise Penguin, and today we are going to be learning all about turtle tracks. Now here in South Florida, we have three different types of sea turtles that nest here on our beaches. We have the leatherback, the loggerhead, and the green sea turtle. Now throughout the majority of a sea turtle's life, they spend a lot of time out in the ocean, but the females, the ones that we're going to be talking about their tracks, they come up and nest on our beaches when they get to about 25 to 30 years old. So those three sea turtles, again, the leatherback, the loggerhead, and the green sea turtle are the three that nest here on our beaches. When we see leatherbacks, they're the first one that come up on our beaches during nesting season. So they come up in March and they go until about June or July. When they come onto the beaches, those tracks that they're making are very, very large. You have to think a leatherback, they're about 6 to 9 feet in shell length and almost 1,000 pounds. So they have to move a lot of weight, and they use their front two flippers in almost a breaststroke style. So they have very long flippers, and you guys can do this with me. And when they move their flippers at the same time when they're moving up onto the beach. Now, the next turtle that comes up onto our beaches are our loggerhead sea turtles. The loggerhead sea turtles, much smaller than the leatherbacks. They're about 2.5 to 3 feet in shell length and weighing just under 300 pounds on average. So they don't need very large flippers to move their bodies up along the beach. They have very short flippers, so we're going to make our short flippers, and they do almost like a freestyle motion. So they do one and alternate between their flippers. So that's how they do it. So we'll do it one more time. They move one flipper and then the next flipper, and they move up the beach that way. Our last sea turtle that comes up and nests on our beaches are our green sea turtles. They come towards the end of the season, so they're in about now is when they're coming up and nesting. April is when they really start to come up, and then they go until about October. So they have a pretty lengthy nesting season. It breaks up the season. They do very similar to the leatherbacks, so they use their two flippers at the same time, but again, they're much shorter. So we make our nice short flippers for the green sea turtles, and then we move them at the same time. So again, almost like that breaststroke motion, just very much smaller. When you also look at the tracks of a green sea turtle, you might actually see a poke hole as well. And those poke holes are from the tails of the green sea turtles. That's very unique to their tracks. And that's how our researchers, when they go out in the morning, that's how they're identifying all of the nests that are coming up onto our beaches. They look at the tracks that are coming up, and then they'll be able to locate where the nest is. Once they locate that nest in the morning, so all of this is happening normally at nighttime, the nesting process, they have these are our nesting stakes. So this is what our researchers are putting out in the morning after they find those tracks and the nests that the turtle may have laid. So there's a very unique code that is on our nesting stakes. This would be right in front of the nest because it has a white face. There is an orange side to our nesting stakes, and those go up into the dunes, just in case this white side of the stake ever gets lost in front of the nest. And then that code, so CC represents Caretta caretta, or our loggerhead sea turtles. The other two species, the green and the leatherback, have different codes up here. They have DC and CM are their two codes. And then this is a very unique code that our researchers put on the nesting stakes. Each code will be a little bit different. And then this last part right here, I'll switch it sideways so we can read it a little bit better. This last part right here, the number represents the section of beach that the nest was found, and then the letter A represents what nest of the day it was. So A would be the first nest of the day, and then they would continue to mark that as B, C if they found more nests throughout the day. Now, we don't mark every single one of our nests that we have here on our beaches. We only mark about 10 to 15% of them because there's a lot of nests out there. Once those nests are hatched out, which you'll learn a little bit more about in the live section with Miss Enya, we actually see tracks from the hatchlings that pop out. And the tracks from the hatchlings are very, very similar to the adult tracks that you see. So our leatherback hatchlings, they're much smaller. Their eggs are about the size of a tangerine. And so that's about the size of the hatchling when they pop out, but they still use 2 flippers, just a lot smaller, and using that brushstroke motion. So 2 flippers at the same time for the leatherbacks. Same thing with the greens. The green hatchlings will also use their 2 flippers. They won't have the poke hole like the adults do, but they do have that 2 flipper motion for the hatchlings. And then our loggerhead hatchlings also do the 1 flipper alternating between the 2 of them. I hope you guys learned a little bit more about turtle tracks. Again, tune in right after this video with Miss Enya to learn what happens after that nest has already hatched out and see what the nest looks like on the inside. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.